The seven philosophers, I think I missed one. That is Descartes. So let me repeat. So that's number 8, actually. The G7 philosophers in the West are Parmenides, Plato, Descartes, Kant, Hegel, Heidegger, and Wittgenstein. And if you know that these 7 particular philosophers, that would be the best. But anyway, the point is the logical link. Remember why they are connected. They all connected together. Why? And why they are left over among hundreds of philosophers. And there's a reason for it. That's called logical link. Okay? So if you don't understand this point, you certainly won't understand instancology. Why instancology comes from these philosophers, and why instancology standing on the shoulders of the giants before it. Now, that's very important point. You don't understand that, you cannot see the link. Let me assure you of that. All right. Number 9, some philosophers of science and mathematical logic. By that I mean you have to understand something about Popper's theory, the falsification theory. You have to understand Thomas Kuhn's theory. What's a paradigm shift? Things like that. And you have to understand some Frege's theory and Bertrand Russell's symbolic logic. And you understand what's a development from Aristotelian logic. If you know that, that will be very helpful in understanding instancology. And the last one, you have to have the will to pursue truth, nothing but the truth, not sophistry, not for some specific use, and not for some utility use of for some marketing, okay, for some even for some money. No, if you're thinking about that, you can understand. Okay, it actually instancology has nothing to do with it. Okay, it's a sort of a metaphysics. Okay, that's the 10 points I want to mention here. And okay, next point, I want to talk about the logical development. What is the logical development of instancology? All right, instancology is the development from these philosophers directly, and just I mentioned, it's a sort of like, let's say everything, if it's something, it has a logic. Do we believe so? Let's say a tree has a logic, a plant, an animal like a dog or cat, anything, if it has a life, okay, it has a logic inside it. It has rules. It has laws. Or you can even say it has mathematics in it. If you can figure that out, I think that one day we will probably. But anyway, for theories, for theoretical knowledge, all right, like philosophy, like a theory of economics, theory of political science, or theory of some other things like arts or something. It has its inner logic. Trust me, the logic will develop by itself. All right, but it won't go anywhere it wants to. It has a logical development. That means the main branch, it will grow, and the leaves will grow too. So, but you have a main branch, okay? It has its logical extension. In other words, instancology is a logical extension from the major Western philosophers. To be specific, especially Kant, Hegel, Heidegger, Wittgenstein, Husserl, and these are the immediate predecessor, and from their logic, from their shoulders, the instancology grows. If you don't understand them, you cannot understand what instancology is talking about. That's for sure. So the understanding of previous philosophers is the necessary condition to understand instancology. Without that, don't even think about that. So that's my point. Okay, the third point is, we know that philosophy is some knowledge. Let me quote Aristotelian's concept. According to Aristotle, according to Aristotle, knowledge is divided into three parts. The number one, theoretical. The number two, applicable. Application. Okay, something about application. Applicable knowledge. The third one is productive one. All right. Well, the third one is easy to understand. Let's say you are a shoemaker. You make shoes. If you are a craftsman, you make some painting, or maybe you make a boat or something, or you build a house or something. Okay, that's called productive knowledge. You build a bridge, your engineer build a bridge. All right. The second part of Aristotelian idea of knowledge is practical. By that, Aristotle means something that will help you to have a good life or virtuous life, to be happy when you have your life. What is that purpose? That means the telo. According to Aristotle, everything has a telo. You live, you have a telo in yourself. Okay, as a plant, it will grow up, it will fall, it will produce seed for next generation. And that's called a telo. Okay, animals have one, and human beings have two. Okay, so according to him, a virtuous life is necessary to have this knowledge of application. All right, that's Aristotle's idea. That's the second part. Okay, the first part is called first philosophy. That's metaphysics. That's very theoretical. They are only fit for the very small group of people, because they are so difficult, so abstract, they don't have immediate applicable use. Okay, they are talking about something which satisfies the needs of mind. According to Aristotle, they are the part, as Aristotle says, is all men desire to know. It's the hungry of your mind. You must know it. It's a part. It's useful for that. Everything else, it's not for your body. It's not for your stomach. Not for anything else. All right? Okay. So you must understand this part is very difficult. That's why if it escapes you, it's natural. Maybe you either do something else, or you tried very hard to do it. You have the money, you have the time, you can afford to study this part, and go try it. Okay, that's a really important thing according to Aristotle. Human as a human, you can understand this. Congratulations. All right. Otherwise, do something else. Don't waste your time. All right. Okay. The number 4 I'm talking about is like this. For the logical development, there's a structure. The lower one first, the middle one in the second, the third highest one at the last stage. They build up logically. You have to understand that. Well, let's give you an example of mathematics, right? You, as a student, as a pupil, you learn arithmetics first, right? You learn 1 + 1 = 2 first. Then, in the middle school, you will learn some geometry, right? Trigonometry, right? Excuse me. Then when you go to college, you go to universities, you learn calculus, right? So they build up like a level, one by one, right? If you come directly to the last part, you won't understand the calculus, because previous mathematics, lower levels, are alien to you, all right? You have no idea what the calculus is talking about. It's the same. This is the same reason for philosophy. You understand the previous one, right? What's let's say Aristotle's idea of knowledge? What's Aristotle's experimental knowledge? What's Plato's ideas? Then you understand this sequence. You can come step by step till you come to Kant. That's a very middle point. Then you come to Hegel. That's an even higher point. All right. Now I see Instancology as the last and highest, the pinnacle point of the development of the structure of philosophy. As a matter of fact, Instancology put an end to philosophy. Without you understanding of Hegel's logic, without you understanding the whole sequence till Wittgenstein, you have no idea what Instancology is talking about. That's called the sequence, the logical structure. Without understanding previous steps, you have no idea what Instancology is talking about. I'm sure of that. Okay? So the previous knowledge, the lower level philosophy, are just primary, the necessary conditions, the previous steps, all right, for understanding Instancology. Without grasping them, don't try Instancology. In addition to the language difficulties, okay, in addition to the Oriental epistemology. Let me give you an example. Why do we need Oriental epistemology here? All right, in the West, we know we have sensible knowledge. We have the intuition, right? According to Kant, we have the knowledge of experience. That is through our organs, right? The 5 organs we have, according to British philosophers like John Locke, Berkeley, and Hume, right? That's basic thing. All our knowledge comes from there. Then, according to Kant, we have the knowledge structured from inside out. Okay? We use our mind. That's called understanding, right? Okay. How can you explain? Now my question to you is, how can you explain discovery? All right? How can you explain when Archimedes shouted, "Eureka! I found the ratio of alloy of the gold with other metals." Well, how can you explain this kind of thing? All right? In other words, the reason, the understanding, the logic eventually will become machines. They are mathematical in nature, they are logical in nature. But that's not all epistemology, all right? That cannot explain the mechanism of discovery. That's a problem. So, you go forward from the Western epistemology of intuition and reason, go one more step. Where do you go? You have to go to the East to get that one that is called Wu Xing. I call it pure Wu Xing. What is that? It's something like an insight. It's a special insight, all right? You have to understand this part. That's a part all humans have. And that's a part which explains how come the discovery, right? According to Einstein, if you know, he once talked about what's a root of discovery. He said there's no logic. You cannot go logically to discover new theories. I think he's correct, because if there's a reason or there's a mechanism to discover new things according to logic, then machines can do that, right? Eventually, reason or logic will come to be machines. We make a computer discovery, so what's the use of human beings? So that's a point, all right? So that is very important. Remember this. And lastly, I want to say the will to pursue truth, the attitude, say like Socrates, we are ignorant. We know we are ignorant. The difference is People who don't think they are ignorant are doubly ignorant. All right? And Socrates knows he is ignorant. Other people don't know that. That's the only difference. From my experience, for the half year, I put my translation into English since last August. I think a half year already. I wrote like 7,000 words in English, make up like 50 more videos saying this one. And it proves that my previous assumption that people don't understand Instancology, it's because of the language. The language part plays a big role for the Oriental people, for Chinese philosophers or philosophy fans, because they don't have the training of Western philosophy. They don't understand Western philosophy in general. But now, half year later, I found it's not the language. It's not that problem. The problem is the content. The content is too difficult. Many professors, 99.999% of the professors, philosophy professors, don't understand even Hegel. Bertrand Russell doesn't understand. How about other people, other philosophers? They don't. They have no idea what Hegel is talking about. I think Hegel died like 200 years ago. Today, very few people. I haven't seen anyone in the internet, in the YouTube, whoever the professor put things there, they don't understand Hegel. They don't. They have no idea what it is. The point here I want to stress is familiarity is not understanding. Okay? Let me repeat this part. You know every word Hegel says, every phrase Hegel says, every chapter or every page, every chapter Hegel says, but you cannot connect a logical link. That's a problem. You have to see how Hegel is different from Kant and how Heidegger and or Husserl connected to Hegel. If you don't understand this part, you don't understand Hegel. All right? Why evolution is challenged by so many contemporary philosophers or educators. Let people say why human being cannot produce a horse, right? Why? What's the problem? You say evolution. Why I cannot see that? Human being always generate children like human being. They cannot generate a horse. Why? You have to see the link. All right? What's the reason? That you can discover it in Hegel's system. All right? So that's my point. You have to thoroughly understand it, Hegel's thing, before you can appreciate, you can see what's the value in Instancology. I'm sure of it. And that's a necessary condition. I'm not saying that if you understand Hegel, you must understand Instancology. Probably not. But I'm different from Hegel. I want to help people to understand it. If you have a question, I can answer it. I can lead you to my theory. I can explain to you. But the first thing, you have to have a good attitude, to have an honest attitude. You say yourself, don't pretend to, okay? Like Socrates saw so many people like to do that. In their times, in our times, I see they are the same. People are people, everywhere are the same. They pretend to know things, all right? That's in Diogenes' time, he take a lantern, okay, a lamp during daylight. People ask him, why do you do that? He said, I want to find honest people. There is no honest people. They all pretentious. They all pretend to know things. They don't have a good attitude, honest heart. That's a problem. With that problem, you cannot pursue truth. You cannot find the truth. Okay? So, my advice to my listener is try to correct your attitude first. You have to be honest. Ask yourself if you really know this or not. All right? Also, don't assume being familiar is understanding. According to Hegel, that's wrong too. All right? Okay. I hope after this talk you can appreciate my point. Thank you very much. Bye.